Hello, my name is Eric Cameron. I am with Team Neptune Shark, aka Brave Bird Studios, and I'm going to be walking you through our game, which would be titled as Owl Game in the menu, but we've recently decided on the name Parliament, which, as a fun fact, is what you call a flock of owls. So, obviously, as an owl game, you play an owl. The general flow of the game is you'll go through different stages that are based on real-world ecosystems that an owl lives in, specifically this one being a northern saw-whet owl. And you'll be hunting for prey, as well as surviving from predators. So this is a third-person survival roguelike game, which means that it is difficult by nature, and each time you play through, it's kind of an isolated run, as it's called in the genre. So every time you go through, everything restarts. You start from scratch and you try to progress as much as you can. So the general gameplay loop is the player will go and find these prey. Once they consume the prey, you can see that you get a buff to your stats, which we have here. So this is what lets the player grow stronger, and they'll continue to gain stats as they progress in the game. Every time the level is loaded, you can see these caves and these little round parts that are burrows. These are the spawners for the AI in the game, so they will be different every time the player spawns in. So it'll change. Even this same exact level will look very different the next time it's loaded, which we can show very quickly. So now that we've loaded in again, you can see that all those caves that were there have moved, and it's different. So again, replayability is really important for our game, so we want it to have a fun loop where the player will be incentivized to go back in and try to get a better run each time. But moving on from the gameplay perspective of the predator-prey system that we have, something we really wanted to focus on pretty early on is the aesthetic of the game, and we wanted it to have this low-poly aesthetic. So it's a style that we all really enjoy and thought would fit very well for the kind of game that we're making. We wanted to go for this idea that the game looks very inviting from the outside, but once you get in and interact with the game's systems and the mechanics, you can see that the game is pretty serious and definitely is difficult to complete. So deceptively hard, I guess. It looks very inviting and friendly from the outside, but once you get in there and really get into it, it is not an easy game to beat. So with the low poly aesthetic, we wanted that to stay true through all of the elements of the game. Our environments are naturalistic in that they are areas that could exist in the real world. So in this particular level, we have a remote area that's surrounded by mountains. We have a cave in the distance, a very large mountain there, waterfalls. And then in the center of the map, which is the namesake of this map, Village Ruins, we have what's left of a village in the middle of this forest. So again, kind of these naturescapes that exist that you could see, happening in the real world. And then the final element with this would be the impact of humans on ecosystems. So here we have our logging site that has been run through by humans, and this is an impact that we want to explore in each level, as well as different systems and mechanics. So in this level, you see very naturalistic, something you could see if you go to a remote area. And then as another example, we go to our winter campsite here, and this one's a little bit closer to home, I guess, specifically for me. If I were to go up the road a little bit, I would definitely see a place very similar to this that has, these campsites off of a main road. We have a log cabin over here. something that you could definitely find just in travel. So we have cars. Again, there's the human element that's traveling on the road. But all of this, we want to stay in that low poly aesthetic to really drive home that friendly nature that is deceiving once the player gets in. Kind of a false sense of security once they get into it. So yeah, that's a basic overview. We didn't want to make it too complex as far as what we were looking for. So, sticking to that aesthetic. We already have some things in place that work pretty well for us, but really looking to fill in the blanks with all of our temporary assets here, and just sticking to that vision of the game. So that's it. We very much look forward to working with you this month. If you have any questions, of course, please feel free to reach out, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.